Hello, 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 class. This is section 1-4, pairs of angles. We're going to be identifying some adjacent angles, some vertical angles, some complementary angles, why thank you, and supplementary angles. And we're going to find the measures of these different pairs of angles. So go ahead and get probably your notepad out at this time. And on your, hopefully we're on the iPads. You can go ahead and type in section 1-4, pairs of angles, and either type the number 5 out or go ahead and open a different notepad and go ahead and answer number 5. So if you need to pause the video, feel free so you can get that stuff wrote down or typed down. Alright, so we got the first figure from page 2 here, and it looks like it's just showing us in this intersection of two lines that intersect at point Z that it forms 4 different angles. Although we could call this particular angle here WZY or YZW, it's still just one angle. So 4 angles are formed from the intersection of 2 lines. Alright, the first pair of angle that we're going to talk about is adjacent angles. These are angles in the same plane that have a common vertex and a common side, but they share no common interior points. So as we see from this drawing, we have angle 1 and angle 2. They would be adjacent angles because they share this common side. And if I was to put these points down for angle 2, these interior points, there would be none of its interior points that would be shared with angle 1. Angle 1's interior points would be on this side of that ray. Okay, so no common interior points would be shared, but they share this side. So angles 1 and 2 would be adjacent angles. There's several other adjacent angles here, such as angle 2 and angle 3 that share this common side. Angles 3 and angles 4 that share this common side. Angles 4 and angle 1 that share this common side. So each one of these would be different pairs of adjacent angles. Now, a special type of adjacent angle would be a linear pair, and these are 2 adjacent angles whose non-common sides are opposite rays. Or in other words, a linear pair, if they're adjacent angles right next to each other, they would form a straight line. Okay? So we probably can go ahead and realize that in a linear pair, if they form a straight line, that would probably mean if I added them together, it would equal the measure of this full angle from the angle addition postulate. The small pieces add up to equal the big piece. So linear pairs are going to equal 180 degrees. So angles 1 and 2 would be linear pairs because they form this line. Angles 2 and 3 would be linear pairs because they would form this line together. And angles 4 and 3 would be a linear pair because they form this angle, or this line. And angles 4 and 1 would also be a linear pair because they form the green line. Hence, a linear pair makes a line. Alright, so from this page here, we're supposed to identify 2 adjacent angles that do not form a linear pair. So we're looking for 2 angles side by side that don't form a straight line when I put them together. Alright, so if I look at VZW, then it shares the common side here, ray ZW, with angle WZT. So these 2, if I added those 2 angles together, wouldn't be a straight line. So I could list angle VZW and angle WZT. So I need to find another one. Now notice that there are some that would be a linear pair here, but it looks like I have one that wouldn't form. If I added these two together, it wouldn't form a straight line. So I'm going to go ahead and list it as another example, which would be angle SZY and angle YZT. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and identify two adjacent angles that do form the linear pair. So I think we named one on the last slide here, but if I added this angle with this angle, notice that it forms this straight line across here. So I would list angle SZV and angle VZW as a linear pair. So I need to find another one that would form a straight line, and I see that these two angles here would make line YV, this line right here. So I'm going to go ahead and list these two angles as another linear pair. So I'd say angle SZV and angle YZS. And I could name it the other way, but as long as I name these two angles, that would be the linear pair. Alright, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and end part 1 of section 1-4, pairs of angles, and allow you to go ahead and do problems 4, 6, 14, and 16 from page 31.